Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 26 of We Are Family. As always, my name is Jake Bell. I'm joined here by Pirate Peyton Celesti and Nathan Shivens, and we're here to talk some Pittsburgh sports today. So I know we have some Buccos
Hopefully
talk.
everyone is watching, because if it was everyone, we'd be rich.
Exactly.
Everyone should be watching.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, we love everyone. There's no one we
All
hate.
people.
Now, this is an interesting time in the sports landscape because NFL's over. It's right before free agency. It's right before March Madness, gets really
It's
kicked
right
into high
before
gear.
MLB.
Right before MLB and before the playoffs for NBA. So
Right.
it's kind of a
slight dead period.
Yes.
But it's about to heat up,
And
and
we-
that's
yeah.
what we're.
We've-
This
and
is
we've-
the calm before the storm.
It
yeah,
is.
we've seen that with some of the NFL moves that have been made already, and we're going to talk about some other ones we'd like
Gotta
to see.
stay tuned for that though, because we're talking Buccos
Buccos.
with Jake Bell. It's been a couple of weeks. We
has
gotta get
been.
your thoughts on this spring training so far. What are we seeing? What are we liking?
Yes.
What are we not liking?
Ooh. So, one thing I do want to mention is I don't think we mentioned on here unless you guys did so beforehand, but Paul Skeens trying out a new cutter and I believe a two-seam.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're nasty.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, like we're concerned about Skeens gave up 2 runs in 3 innings. I'm like, I guarantee if he stuck with his normal pitching arsenal last year, those would have been 3 shutout innings. I mean, he's trying stuff new. Like you mentioned before, the defense didn't give him any favors either. So you can't judge spring training with a guy like Paul Skeens. He's gonna flat out dominate this year. Still, like I know first base is going to be a topic as well. There's so many people trying. I was
If you bring, like I said earlier, a couple of weeks ago, if you bring a
Yeah.
first base glove, there's a sign in Bradenton. It says if you bring a first base glove, you can go over to
Yeah.
the bag and try out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
And it was funny. I was listening to the fan while I was at work today, and Noah Hiles mentioned how he truly believes the opening day starting first baseman is going to be DJ Stewart. I think that's interesting. I want it to be Nick York. I want to see him to be on the MLB team. I want him to get at bats. I think he's a good hitter.
I just
That's
need a minute to
potential.
process.
Yeah.
What?
DJ Stewart.
But Fangraphs thinks it's going to be Derek Hall, so it's like 2 minor league deal guys.
It is just kind of
It's like-
sad. Like I know there was the injury, but it's year 6 and you're starting first baseman. Just the debate of DJ Stewart or Derek Hall or something. It's just really pathetic.
But again, I think it should be Nick York. He deserves at bats. He is a true hitter. I want to see him getting playing time. I know that's not his primary position, but the first baseman we're going to put there that's not their primary position anyway.
I'm genuinely shocked. I did not. That's the first you've said. We didn't talk about that off air.
Yeah.
I figured, Stewart and Hall would be in AAA as depth.
Right.
But I guess if they consider them real depth without Horwitz, they're going to bring them up. But you're trying all these guys. Nick York. Jack Sawicki said he'll play first base.
Did he say that? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And during Pirates Fest, he went up to guy used to play, Don Kelly,
Right.
and he said, I'll play first base. Because this dude...
He does play. Was that his?
Billy Cook too. Billy Cook's
Was that the Jack Sawicki voice impression?
Yes, I really want to play... No, we love Jack. Okay.
I want to play for.
Congrats
I
on
can't-
Jack Sawicki. He got married over the offseason,
Oh!
by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now... Let's be honest, okay? These players get married or they get in a relationship, right? And the stats, the numbers go down.
But Josh
So I hope
Allen's
that's
went
not-
up though.
Who?
Josh Allen, he won the MVP after he got married.
But we're talking about Jack Sawicki.
But Jack Sawicki can only go up from here. Let's be honest.
Jack, let's not be a distraction. We need Jack.
He's
focus.
locked in. I know he's definitely. I like what I'm seeing from him in
Yeah, I
camp
do
so
too.
far.
I
I know
agree.
it's camp, it's spring training, but
That
we-
swing is. I can't
he's
stand it.
he's getting more contact though so far in spring
I
training.
mean, Matt Haig, that's what his focal point on as a hitting coach is, to get the ball in play. Basically.
And a positive note for Sawinski, I do like that they're batting him leadoff. I kind of like that idea. He could be. We were talking about this earlier. Me and Nate were talking about this. He could be like a Kyle Schwarber type of but he has speed. He can steal bases. And when he's patient at the plate, we don't want him to be overly patient, but when he gets into deep counts, that's when he has the most success. And that's what you want your leadoff hitter to do. And he's fast, and he can provide that leadoff home run power, similar to Schwarber in a way, not to that extent. But I kind of think that if he's a leadoff hitter, they give him that chance. that could really help him.
And he's not a guy that drives and runs, so I feel like he's better suited without guys on base. It feels
the pressure of driving and runs, I think it got to him, possibly. So.
Yeah, he's always been, even his 27 home run season, it was like 27 and, what was it? It was like 70 something. It wasn't.
Maybe 70.
It could have been.
I can find out.
But it should have been a lot more.
Right.
There were times when he just didn't come up, big in the big moments. But I agree. I do kind of like that, and it has to be a confidence boost for him. Like, hey, we want to try you out batting leadoff, not like 8th or 9th, leadoff. And I think Matt Haig is doing pretty good so far because I see Brian Hayes right now, and I like how he looks. And obviously, getting healthy is a big part of that as well. I like what Henry Davis looks like. He's getting a lot more contact right now. He had a bad strikeout the one game, but where he just where it's back to his old days where he missed the ball by 3 feet or something. But I think he looks better, so I do think there's progress being made. It's night and day already between Andy Haynes and Matt Haig, I think.
I agree.
I am not going to go that far yet. Henry Davis, he's crushed the ball at AAA. He's crushed the ball in spring training. I don't really love his swing. I don't see that many changes, and I can kind of say the same thing for Sawinski. So I need to see results in the regular season before I get excited about anything. I remember, I always bring up this example. I remember Kevin Newman hitting 500 in spring training.
2021, that was awesome.
And we thought, he's going to build on what he did in 2019. And he had one of the, it was just an awful hitting season for him. So I want to go back on first base, but this has to do with Henry Davis, too. It's looking like Joey Bart is gonna be the starting catcher. He obviously he needs to be that cleanup hitter. He needs to be that guy. That's what they're relying on.
Yeah.
And then you have Henry Davis. They're saying that Henry Davis is gonna be the backup, and they're gonna get him as many bats as they can. Joey Bart should get the majority of the starts behind catcher. And my issue is you have your best defensive catcher and definitely in my opinion, a better hitter than Henry Davis. I think he's going to be a better hitter, and Endy Rodriguez down in AAA. And you have two catchers that are very below average when it comes to defense. And Davis especially, he scares me because he has looked bad at times catching. And I know he's worked on it, but you drafted him as a catcher out of Louisville. This shouldn't have been that big of an issue, the defense. And it's just kind of like, if Endy Rodriguez is your long-term catcher, okay, you have Henry Davis as the backup right now. What's his future? I don't know. Where are you going to put him? And I just don't feel like they have any backup plan for that. And the main point I'm trying to make, I know I'm rambling, Endy Rodriguez should be on this team. I know he had a year a year off. I know that he, we want to get him as much at bats as possible. But you have an open hole at first base. We're talking about Derek Hall, DJ Stewart, Jack Sawinski, Jerry Triolo, Nick York. And I like Nick York, but we don't really know. He's not Endy Rodriguez. They expect to be really good, right? I think we all expect to be really good. I'm very optimistic about him. Why isn't he being played at first base? Why aren't you making him at least a platoon first or the everyday first baseman until Spencer Horwitz comes back? And you didn't do enough in free agency, right? You have to let the young guys play. And I'm for Henry Davis being up here. But if Henry Davis is up here and Endy Rodriguez isn't getting it, you need him in this lineup and to be good. And I don't understand why. I know that they want him to catch every day down in AAA, but he will catch every day in the big leagues at some point, but not for this year's team. And this year's team needs to win now. And you can't wait. You just can't wait, in my opinion.
And that's why I wish that they would have moved Joey Bart away from catching. Not that he was a bad catcher, but in Endy Rodriguez's short time as the catcher in 2023, he had 3 defensive runs saved. He is the best defensive catcher on this team. I will stand by that. I would rather see him start work with the pitchers and have Joey Bart just focus on offense. You had such a good offensive year for this team. That should be the focal point of your game from here on out, because him improving and being good is very important to this team. If he goes back to his Giants days, it's going to be an issue with the season. So that's why I wish that they'd have all three guys up, have Bart in a DH first base role, have Andy Rodriguez and Henry Davis as their catcher. I feel like that would make the most sense. But again, Joey Bart, he wants to work with these pitchers. He's not going to want to give that catching role up. And you need to play him where he's comfortable. So I'm not going to fault the Pirates too much there.
What I wanted to see, and I agree with you, is have Bart and you have Davis at AAA. He needs to prove himself. He needs to do more.
There's nothing to prove in AAA though.
I know,
Yeah,
but
Just keep them up and keep them all up.
But if you can't, but you have to find a position. I would keep him in AAA to find the right position for him. Okay, whether that's just full-time DH or whether that's first base, I don't know. But for now, because I think Henry Davis would be your ideal first baseman, because if Joey Bart, you don't think is going to be around forever. Andy Rodriguez, right? Andy Rodriguez is your full-time catcher of the future. That would leave a spot for Henry Davis at first base, in my opinion. And he could platoon with Horwitz. That would be down the line. But
I would be cool with that.
I'm more of a Rodriguez and a Bart fan. That's why I have Davis at AAA. But what I wanted to see happen was Bart and Rodriguez as the two catchers, and now that Horwitz is hurt, as the two primary first basemen. So that way you have both of them in the lineup every day. Rodriguez is the regular catcher. Rodriguez plays more first base because he has experience there.
He does, yeah.
And then Bart is the regular catcher, but then they switch on when one needs a break from the catching, right? And they switch. At least for this season, and once Horwitz comes back. That's what I think would have been the smart move. But they didn't.
And DH sometimes
they didn't work
too, I
Joey
think.
Bart at first base. He's never played, or they have no plans to do that. Okay, fine. You can still put Andy Rodriguez in your first base plans for this year easily. And out of all the guys they're trying, this is another guy I want to talk about. I want to hear your opinion on, Jake. Out of all the guys they actually are considering, and they're not considering Andy Rodriguez, which I think is ridiculous, is Matt Gorski. I think he has the most potential of all these guys that they're trying out there. And I think he's a right-handed hitter. You could platoon, if he proves himself, he could platoon there with Horwitz this year. He's an outfielder, but he does have experience at first base. We have issues with his strikeout and average numbers, but I really love his swing, and I love the power that he can provide from that position. 23 home runs last year.
Yeah, Matt Gorski, he's an interesting player. It's funny, like, he still hasn't made his MLB debut, and he was the guy that Huntington drafted. So it's kind of, like, interesting to put
It seems like every year it's like, oh, he's a player to watch in spring training.
Yeah. And if you start, like, I know that guys like Adam Frazier, they're on an MLB guaranteed deal. Unless they DFA him, he's going to make the roster. But, and other guys to that regard. But Matt Gorski is, 26 or 27 right now. It's not like saving a year of control with him is going to matter at this point, because he's going to be at the point where you let him go anyway if he works out and he plays 6-7 years.
And he's a second-round pick. You got to give him a chance at some point. And it's not like he's been bad in the minor leagues. He's been solid.
He slugged over 500 last year in AAA, and he's a guy with so much power potential. And I don't know. He would be a cool guy to have on the opening day roster, even if you don't want to start him. I feel like it would make sense.
Just in terms of potential.
Yeah, I mean,
Give him a chance.
he was much better in AAA than Derek Hall was last year. I will say that. Derek Hall did not have a good AAA
Oh, really?
season. He did not.
I didn't know that.
His OPS barely reached 700. And for a guy that, has MLB experience, for that to be the case, that's not very.
To me, if you're not going to get Andy Rodriguez the chance he deserves to get big league at bats, then at least have Matt Gorski get a lot of playing time here. Let's see what he can do.
I'd be cool with that. I do like guys like Billy Cook and Nick York, but like Matt Gorski has the power potential that the Pirates
Billy
need.
Cook looks like
I think he has more potential than
I
these
like
guys.
Billy Cook as more of an outfield type, depth outfielder.
I agree.
Because he's been looking really good defensively.
He's fantastic.
And he made that one catch at the wall. That was just a really nice catch. But
Nick York, I'm not sure. I'm just not. I don't know.
I like him as a hitter. I just don't know what his position is really.
Yeah. So we're gonna, in the coming weeks before the season starts, give our picks and where we think.
Make a 26-man roster.
I agree.
But I would just sneak peek what I would have. I'm gonna have all three of them on the opening day roster. All Bart, Davis, and Rodriguez.
I would too. I would love to see that.
With that.
I just don't. Yeah, I'm not. We're done with AAA.
Davis gets no playing time there. Where does he play? When does he play?
I think I think it's just been, and we talk about this, a terrible mismanagement of all, like what we're saying. Like, hey, Bart, he's not the greatest defensive catcher. Oh, but they're not giving him reps at first. Rodriguez is a great catcher defensively, but we're giving him reps at first. Like there's no cohesive plan here.
But now they're not even using him.
And now he's not
first.
even first. He's just a catcher now.
Let's get him reps at AAA. How is that? This is a team that needs to win now, and it's the same story. There's no urgency, and that's what drives me nuts.
I completely agree with what you said earlier, Jake. I would have if they just like in spring training gave him first base reps. It would have been. I would have had him played first and optimize his bat.
Yeah.
Put Endy's bat in there every day at catcher, or 2 out of 3 days or whatever, and then give while Horwitz is out, and give Henry Davis 1 out of every 3 games or something.
And if you want to get Henry Davis more at bats, don't DH Kutch every day.
Yeah,
have Henry Davis DH every once in a while.
Yeah,
like that would make sense.
And he won't. But yeah, the whole thing too. It's just this Adam Frazier signing continues to be.
I forgot that's another. There's like 6 guys that are playing first base.
But that continues to be. It continues to be.
Frazier got hurt though. It's minor. But
yeah, he hasn't played a while. They've had him out of the lineup for a while. Yeah. But it's just the most random thing ever because there's like one spot it feels like that they could have another player that deserves to be there, and it's just Frazier's going to take it up. Yeah. And I just don't like. He's not being our first baseman. That cannot happen. No. And I don't want him playing second base too much either at this stage and what he's shown in the last several years.
What's going to happen? They're going to have no kids. Whoever they have, even if Gorski does make the roster, he's going to get like no. They're going to put a new first baseman there like every day.
Do you think they treat him like Leo Figueroa or something?
I would feel so bad.
But Figueroa in spring training has been awful actually so far. He's not looking good defensively, but it will be. It just feels like there's so many, even though it feels like there's more positions now that are, okay, this guy's playing this one, this one's, it just feels like there's so many more questions this year because there's so many guys that could easily make the opening day roster that may be in, AAA or even get DFA'd or whatever.
What happened to the big move? Where's the big move?
Andrew Heaney was the big move.
Yeah. They were saying they were going to make trades. They made one trade.
Yeah.
They got that one early on. They were cooking. They got that A's minor leaguer, and after he got DFA'd, they traded him for cash, and they DFA'd him later. That was our big trade.
Well, I think we've gone from the Marlins, but the A's got him.
Who are we talking about?
No, it was
did the A's have him?
It was like something Gray, I think.
Tristan Gray. No, I'm thinking of a different guy. Yeah, I'm thinking of a different guy. Yeah.
Anything else on the Buccos? We'll talk about it more in the coming weeks.
Yeah, let's move on because next week, I mean, we're already seeing stuff. A lot of really good players being released out in the market in the NFL. Free agency, all that's those signed. By the time we're here next week, we're gonna know where a lot of players are, and we may know who the Steelers are gonna ride with at quarterback. I
don't like that ride thing. I think it's be more. You're hinting at what you think, or what you want, maybe.
No, that's not what I want. I mean,
you're hinting. What are you hinting at?
It was actually incidental. I swear. But then I said that. Oh, I was hinting, but that was an incidental comment.
Okay, buddy.
Wait, what did I say? Incidental?
Accidental. I think you meant accidental.
Incidental contact. I was thinking that like with NBA or some incident. It was incidental contact.
Yeah, I was trying to say accident. I don't know. Contact. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying.
You're done for a little bit, Jake Bell. Take it away. NFL. Who do we think? We got some free agents here.
So I want to talk about the Steelers first.
Oh, that's right.
Let's talk about the Steelers. We're gonna in a little bit. We're gonna do like a list of some free agents and trade guys, and we're gonna take turns. Guys who requested a trade or on the trade market, and we're gonna take turns putting them in their best scenarios of teams. But I want to talk about the Steelers. All right, let's talk about.
I don't really want to talk about the Steelers.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The mediocrity, baby.
I don't want to talk about the Steelers anymore.
Okay. What's your prediction? What are they gonna do? I think we'll know by this time next week. I'm thinking. I
don't know what they're gonna do. Honestly, I think they're gonna bring back Fields. I hope they do. That's what I would like. Aaron Rodgers makes no sense.
No.
Daniel Jones. There was like rumblings about that randomly. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're the biggest Daniel Jones guy.
I am. As a backup, sure. If he's a starter, like, not even my fandom of Daniel Jones is going to make me happy if he's our starter.
And Sam Darnold, it's I don't know.
Arthur Smith's not going to get the most of him like Kevin O'Connell did.
I just think you ride with Justin Fields, and I don't really see a 5 or 6 win season. I just don't, because they were 4-2 Justin Fields anyway. I know it's the easier part of the schedule, but I think the floor honestly is 7 or 8 wins with Justin Fields, and the ceiling could be a lot higher. So I think for the people that don't want the rebuild and want to actually take another step, I think Justin Fields would be because if you're bringing Aaron Rodgers, he had the same numbers basically as Wilson would in a full season.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that crazy durability, running ability like you mentioned, Jake. I just don't see anybody out there that I would, and we're not gonna draft anybody. I mean, we might draft we were talking about in our group thing, Tyler Shuck or Kyle McCord or something, but those are backup options at this point anyway. So I honestly don't know what they're doing.
I think Kyle McCord, if he...
I like Kyle McCord a lot.
This class, this is why I have no interest in the Steelers getting a guy in the 1st or 2nd round, because 3rd round I'm okay with, 4th round maybe, because all of these guys are not talented enough to overcome not having a good offensive coach. I'm talking everyone from Cam Ward to...
Yeah, I agree.
Will Howard. Like, these guys are just not good enough. Will Howard is really sunk.
He had a bad combine.
He
Kyle
did.
McCord is the better prospect. I mean,
I agree.
Will Howard won the Natty, but Kyle McCord, look what he did at Syracuse.
That's kind of crazy, the Ohio State quarterbacks.
Well, like, Kyle McCord...
I think McCord's better.
I feel like he would be better with Arthur Smith than other quarterbacks that might need more developing, because McCord's more of a pocket passer that's going to make decisions. So I feel like it would make sense for the Steelers. You know what I mean? So
I was hearing he might go to Dallas. If they want to get out of that Dak contract.
I heard,
Matt Pellegrini with his quarterback.
Every time there's a rumor about a big time player, is Dallas a fit for this guy? They were talking about DK Metcalf.
Dallas.
They have so many other issues other than wide receivers, like the last thing, and they do need another guy, I think. But wide receivers, like the last position they need to worry about right now. They need somebody like in every position.
We go through, we're gonna be like,
Dallas.
Yeah.
Is Dallas interested?
Dallas, are they interested in Justin Fields? Daniel Jones, is Dallas interested? They restructured Prescott's contract. So they
the cap hit is so high. Like, even if you restructure it, it's still too
they're gonna probably push it back.
Well, I saw they saved like $30 million or something with whatever they did. I don't know how they did that.
But what they probably did was take money and push it back, like kind of like what the Browns were doing with Deshaun Watson.
The deferred money
is gonna be like $70 million. Like, it's just crazy.
The Dodgers deferred money move here, but they're not
in
nearly.
A different way,
yeah. The cap is every year it's getting like it went up by like $30 million this year.
I was gonna say, like, with how many people are getting cut, I would imagine they keep bringing the cap up so that it's not like these good players are just getting cut because they're getting older and they have to save cap. Like, yeah.
So let's go back. So Jake Bell, who are the Steelers getting? Who are they? Who's their quarterback next week?
What I think they're gonna do, I really think they're gonna bring Russell Wilson back. Tomlin's gonna want a veteran.
Oh,
I want Justin Fields. I'd rather them get Justin Fields, draft Kyle McCord, and just have a young quarterback room. I would rather do that, because like Justin Fields, I don't know what his ceiling is, but I like his athleticism. At least you're trying something new and you're trying with a younger quarterback. A veteran, like, just plugging in a veteran is not going to win this team a Super Bowl whenever you have to go up against Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. It's just not going to work.
The upside for Fields would be greater than anybody else at this point. Like Rodgers at this stage, Wilson at this stage. Yeah. We know what they are. And they're decent, but like you said, Jake, they're not going to get you to the top, over the top, and compete with the Mahomes or the Allens. So I do think in that regard, like, if Fields is able to figure out how to read the field, look, because he has the arm.
Yeah, he does.
And he has the run. We know he has the running ability. Look out, So I think.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, you have to experiment with young quarterbacks until you find the guy, unless you are able to land a premier free agent quarterback like Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. That's a different story.
Right.
But
Aaron Rodgers.
He meant in their prime. So he didn't mean Aaron Rodgers at 40 or 41 or whatever he is now.
Yeah. So. I want Fields. I'm in agreement with you guys. I think the Steelers, I think he's going to go for the most money. I don't think the Steelers want him on a 2 or 3 year deal, and I think some other team is like a Giants or even a Jets. I think one of the New York teams is going to get him.
But would he?
I think the Giants definitely, because coaches are trying to save their job.
Would he go there and knowing that they're just train wreck situations?
Brian Dable is a good offensive coach. Now
I know, but they need a lot.
But like these guys want their money, like, and I think that's
I agree.
I don't think if you're Justin Fields, right? You were 4-2 last year at the Steelers. I don't see how, unless the Steelers meet the offer of other teams or go beyond that, why would I want to come back to a team that benched me when I was doing good?
You know, I saw some reports that Fields might be like unhappy about like thinking about that and unhappy about that.
That's what I think. And I don't think the Steelers are going to meet what other teams are offering him, and I think he's going to get out of our grasp. That is what I think is going to happen. And then I think they're going to go to Russ. They're going to now. I think it's going to go to Russell Wilson, unless now the talks right now that the main team that seems to be is with Rodgers is the Giants. But I think the Giants. Do they really want to go to an older? They do need to win. They do need to have some success.
Why would Rodgers? But why would Rodgers want to go there?
Exactly. Why would he already? He doesn't want to go to the other New York team that's disabled.
Does he not? Does he just not want to win at all?
He went from the Packers to the Jets. He realized that was a mistake. Well, and he made his own. You know, we don't need to go into that. Why would he go to the Giants? I don't see it.
It's even worse.
So I think the Giants Rodgers thing is gonna break down. And I think the Steelers are going to jump in on Rodgers.
Oh boy!
And I think it's going to happen.
You probably right. And
you know what? It would be such a Steelers move.
This will be a great
right
YouTube short if he does.
We will have much. Yeah. There will be a lot of content about Aaron Rodgers. So, a lot of outrage here. We are family.
The thing though with Wilson, he is so determined to come back here, and if the Steelers don't see Rodgers as an option, or if Rodgers just has other interests, or if there's a money thing where the Steelers want to give him less than what he wants or whatever, then I think they'll end up with Wilson. I feel like Wilson is like the last resort for them, but Wilson he's like hanging there. He's like, I'll come back.
He's kind of just like this annoying kid that's like, pick me, exactly. And the Steelers are like, well,
I love Rusty. Yeah. I love Rusty, but let's be honest.
Well, it's funny, like with the Rodgers situation. If
we
should have
had that in the promo. Let's be honest. We didn't.
Yeah, it is.
Let's be honest.
If they grab Rodgers, it's like Tomlin's still stuck in the past, saying, "Well, if we can't beat them, we gotta bring him in," even though they lost to them a decade and a half ago.
Now here's an interesting question.
He still remembers.
It's still.
Is Aaron Rodgers? This is a big factor. Is Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams a package deal?
Yeah, you know what's funny? One of my teachers in high school said I could see the Steelers going into 2022 grabbing both Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. I remember him saying that. And imagine that happens 3 years later. That'd be crazy.
I think they might be a package deal. I think Davante.
I think Adams wanted to be released for sure anyway, and obviously the Jets release him.
Yeah,
I do think they are at this point. Like we've seen it.
The Steelers need another receiver. Now, if you get, let's talk about.
I would love Davante Adams.
But I think if you get Davante Adams, I think it comes with Aaron Rodgers.
But
that's my prediction. I think that's going to happen.
Okay, but then
Derek Carr, because the Steelers are interested in Derek Carr.
I see that. Derek, I saw that.
Are the Saints getting rid of him? Or is he?
They got to rebuild.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
They got to rebuild. Yeah. They got to get.
You think he's gone this offseason?
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that now.
Dude, I like Derek Carr.
I do too, but
he gets disrespected a lot.
He does, but like if the Steelers bring him in, they're not gonna. No, it's not
better.
gonna. Yeah.
No.
So
but I think
he has.
So I want to talk about Rodgers for a second. The Rodgers Adams thing. So I was saying Rodgers, it's basically the same as Russell Wilson, the same production if you bring him in. Mm-hmm. But that's assuming the Steelers wide receiver core is the same. If you bring a Davante Adams in as well, I think it raises the level for any quarterback, let alone an Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be vehemently opposed to it like I would if it was just Rodgers. And at this point, if it is a package and you get Pickens and Adams, I think that's and Calvin Austin's a good receiver.
Well, here's where I would. Okay.
I would still rather have Fields though.
Adams, a Metcalf, a Diggs.
I thought you were saying all of them. Did you see the tweet? It was like Brooke Pryor was like, "Wow, the Steelers are getting Adams, Diggs," because there was like all the rumors.
That's not what I was saying. Like, if they get one of those guys, that's a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
And I'm still on the trade George Pickens train. I don't want to deal with
Choo
him.
choo.
I am. I don't want to deal with him. He's going to want a contract. He's a pain in the ass. I'm sorry. They should get a wide receiver one, trade Pickens, get a second or third round pick, and draft a receiver and have Adams or whoever mentor that receiver. He'll be the receiver too. But then you still have Calvin Austin, and we still haven't seen what Roman Wilson has done.
Did you see the reports about Wilson that he just couldn't understand the playbook?
The Steelers could have drafted Brian Thomas right whenever they drafted Faltanu.
Roman Wilson couldn't understand.
Yeah, did you see that report? It was like he was like healthy enough to play at the end, but he couldn't understand the playbook like in enough time. So they just didn't play him. They just kept him on the IR or whatever he was on.
Who's your source? I did not hear that.
I don't know.
I heard that.
I
It was
saw
all
it.
over Instagram.
I can. We got to get a source on this.
Because that's really bad.
Yeah.
But that's so surprising. He's a Michigan guy, Jim Harbaugh. You think Jim Harbaugh would have someone like that around? Like, the TikTok thing did concern. Like, he's a TikToker. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But like, I thought he was. Well, I guess that might be a bust of a pick there.
So Brian Thomas is right there. He goes a pick after the Steelers pick him.
I
like Falcone, but like
we'll get to the draft.
A to Z Sports. A to Z Sports.
Oh really?
All right. Roman Wilson, according to Bob Labriola from Steelers.com.
Oh wow.
My understanding of the situation is that at no point was there a legitimate level of confidence that Roman Wilson understood the offense and his responsibilities within it.
That's bad.
To the degree that would allow him to execute it at game speed during the stretch run of an NFL regular season.
How do you not figure this out whenever you draft him? Like, that he's slow to process the playbook.
Well, we are the Steelers. This is becoming
the development and it's an issue.
Yeah.
But okay, well, forget Roman Wilson.
Can we pivot to like corner or like other Steelers needs? So what do we think they do? They do
like
that
I
for
said,
agency?
I think they should get a big time receiver, and I would trade Pickens, and then I would draft a receiver in the first or second round. However, outside of quarterback and receiver, I think their next biggest need is corner. Look at the cornerback list this free agency, and there's a few guys that are up for trade. I got it all written down here. We got Jair Alexander, the Packers are looking to get rid of. We have your buddy Carlton Davis.
They love Carlton Davis.
Rasul Douglas.
He's pretty decent.
Ward from the 49ers. I can't remember his first
Travarius?
Yeah, he's good.
DJ
He's a
Reed
good player.
from the Jets. And Byron Murphy,
those are
former Viking.
I was a big
options.
Byron Murphy guy in the draft.
These are all guys that could step in and be that corner next to Joey Porter. And Mike Hilton was released, I believe.
You know what?
Yeah.
They could use. He should have never left Pittsburgh. They should have made it a priority to re-sign him. But he's just a slot guy. And then the question is for the Steelers: do you feel you have a hole at that position, or are you going to finally let Beanie Bishop be that guy? Do we feel confident enough in Beanie Bishop?
I still think you can't. You can't get enough cornerbacks with how that's been a huge need for the Steelers.
And
every
we
single
always
year.
have injuries.
And Beanie, can we be honest about Beanie Bishop? A lot of his interceptions were just right place. It was just deflections. It was deflections. It just like went right to him.
Like MJ Devonshire, like every single time.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times he was a rookie. And I understand I like Beanie Bishop. I just don't think he's.
So you think adding another slot guy would be?
I don't think it would hurt.
No.
And I think because I don't want to see us get a corner in the first round. I want us to spend that on offense. Still, I want us to keep loading up on offensive talent, probably on a skill position.
I would much rather have a proven corner at this point, one of these free agent options.
Joey Porter's that young guy that's still developing.
Yeah,
right? It's going to be year 3 for him.
Yeah,
we need a veteran leader. We haven't had that. I mean, what's his name last year was okay. We got from Carroll. Is he back
Dante
this year?
Jackson.
Is he a free agent?
He's a free. I think he's a free.
I don't know.
Is he?
Wait, is Dante Jackson back?
But honestly,
Dante Jackson should be like CB3. Right. I think if you really want to have a good corner.
I think during the losing streak, he got hurt, and the favorability just went down at the end of the year.
The Steelers, their best cornerback play was veterans.
This is what I get for Dante Jackson. Who the heck this guy is. Okay.
Yeah, like the most successful cornerback tandem since I can remember with the Steelers was Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson. Then you have Mike Hilton in the slot.
Joe Hayden.
Yeah, he is a free agent.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna.
I think we're moving on. I think it's
I would sign a legit outside corner and then draft some depth. And even sign some more. Sign another guy cheaper that's maybe not on the radar.
Right.
It's a little off the radar. So I'm going my order for QB, wide receiver, corner, and then defensive tackle because I guess they're just not happy with.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
I don't understand that because Cam Hayward coming off his best year in years.
Mm-hmm.
You have Larry Ogunjobi, who's more than capable of filling in and everything. And you have Keanu Bentu, who I thought took a big step forward this past season.
Yeah.
But they feel like they have a need there. I don't want to spend a draft pick on that.
No.
I mean, there's some good. What's his name was just released? Jonathan Allen from the Commanders was released today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Javon Hargrave was released.
Javon Hargrave.
It's crazy how many guys have been released.
If there's
Joey Bosa, we're not getting. I'm not talking about this. Joey, this is just another name there. Like
Javon Hargrave, actually, there was like rumors that the Steelers were interested in a reunion.
bring back Hargrave and Hilton.
You bring him back because was he released or was he just free
I looked
agent?
up his PFF. He wasn't living up to his.
Because in
stats.
Philly,
he's older now. He's getting old. That's the only thing.
How long was he in San Francisco? Was that just 1 year? Because he was in Philly and he was awesome.
He signed a 4-year, $84 million deal of San Francisco.
I know.
And he sucked.
I didn't realize. I forgot about that. Wow.
But with Philly, remember with Philly, he was really good after the Steelers got rid of him.
Oh yeah.
He was, but maybe that's just Philly's system. We've seen how good just every player they get is just. That's development. That's an issue too, with a big issue like we've said with the Steelers.
Yeah, D tackle. I think they view it as more of a priority than we view it.
What about linebacker?
No, they restructured Cole Holcomb. He's going to be back. They're not getting rid of.
I don't think they're.
Queen.
No.
But I think that's more of a need.
Is a big issue.
Yeah.
I think the stopping the run, they're blaming it on the defensive tackle. I think it was a linebacker issue.
Yeah.
I think what's his name, the NC State kid, Peyton Wilson, should be the main core. I would get rid of Patrick Queen and go out and get someone else. But there's Nick Bolton, Dre Greenlaw.
Nick Bolton, I like Nick Bolton a lot.
Good, yeah.
He's a machine, tackling machine.
We've had the constant turnover at linebacker, and I think Tomlin is pleased enough with it, but it's still not good enough.
And
it's not good enough.
They're not moving. I'm just saying, like, I think they should. I think linebacker's more of a need than D tackle. But they're not. They're not because they just signed Queen.
That's good.
I like
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Fundamental problem.
I like Atlanta Roberts. I think Peyton Wilson. I think he needs to develop a little more. I think people gave him a little too much credit that he deserved. I think it was all right last year.
He made that really good pick.
He made that one pick, and everybody's like, and he had some. But
Patrick Queen was just he was on the field way too much. They need to have more of a. But they're paying him all that money. Right,
yeah, that's
they
what
expect
I mean.
him to be a star, but he's not a star. So
yeah, and that's the thing. There's a reason the Ravens didn't. He had a chip on his shoulder coming to the Steelers, but it'll be really interesting to see because I think a Nick Bolton would be such an upgrade.
It would be.
I really like Nick Bolton. I just think with the Chiefs, he was somebody in that defense that really provided just. You're not getting to the second level.
They're not going to spend on. They're just not going to do it. They're going to stick with the guys they have.
Yeah.
And I like most, but Patrick Queen is just causing a big issue. It's a big issue.
One issue, big issue.
One issue. We didn't talk about offensive line. They need a guard.
Yeah.
No, I don't want them doing that anymore. We're done with.
The thing is, the offensive line to me, it doesn't matter. It's never going to improve.
Yeah.
No matter who they draft, no matter who unless they sign an absolute.
And I love Pat Meyer.
We don't love Pat Meyer, but they're never.
Remember you saying that.
And it's the same thing. It's kind of a similar situation with the linebackers. It's never going to improve because they have a way of how linebackers are viewed, and the
defensive scheme is never going to improve because it's the same old. Yeah, it's just such a bad look every year drafting or getting these Isaac Somali, I like, and he's done a pretty good job. That was our big thing a couple of years ago. Broderick Jones, our big thing. Isaac Somali, obviously he got hurt, but they got the talent is there. Kevin Dodson was right in our hands, and we screwed him up royally. He's that now excellent O-lineman with the Rams. So this franchise, man,
All right, let's go over some players here.
That's right.
All right, Jake Bell, let's start with you. Let's start with Daniel Jones. Where would you like to see Daniel Jones go next year?
Ideally, I would be thrilled if he joins the Rams as a backup. You bring him in with Sean McVay, who could easily help him develop into a better quarterback to where when he reaches free agency, maybe some teams are like, huh, he was with a good team as a backup, and their whole persona changes, kind of like Mitch Trubisky. Whenever he was with the Bills, everyone's persona changed from, oh, he was a failure with the Bears to, oh, now with the Bills, even though he didn't play, But, like, I feel like Daniel Jones, he has the playoff win, obviously. Like, I feel like that would he would be better than Trubisky if he were to sign somewhere.
He has more playoff wins than the Steelers in the past several years. I mean, honestly.
So I would love to see him with the Rams as a backup. With Stafford's age, and last year he didn't have injuries, but the year before he did. I feel like that could be a good fit for him, in my opinion.
Well, I like that. I do like that. What about Stetson Bennett? Where's Stetson Bennett at?
He's probably older than Daniel Jones.
He probably is, actually, yeah.
9-year college. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Is he just a practice squad guy? I just haven't heard of him.
He was third string.
I haven't heard about him like at all anymore.
Yeah. I actually got one better. I don't think Sam Darnold stays in Minnesota. There's a lot of talk about that, but I think it's more of just they're just hyping him up. They're just like, because they like Sam, But I think they really want J.J. McCarthy to work out, but they need a backup plan because he's coming off an injury. Why doesn't Minnesota just re-sign Daniel Jones? He was already there last year. You're getting just as good of an offensive coach, and you'll have a realistic chance to possibly start the season with Minnesota. So I would have him stay with Minnesota.
That's interesting.
If Darnold obviously isn't re-signed.
That could fit too. For Minnesota, I just think it's such a downgrade. I think it's such a downgrade if Sam Darnold leaves. Just the quarterback situation, just because I don't think J.J. McCarthy's anything special. The
thing is, Kevin O'Connell, I think the trust is more so in
and they got crazy.
The quarterback.
Yeah, but I think but Sam Darnold's so much more talented. He's always been so much more talented than a J.J. McCarthy, I think.
Well,
what do you think?
I agree with you, but some people disagree.
I don't think
J.J. McCarthy has some serious arm talent. He really does. But I was never impressed with him in college. But he
does have really good receivers and a really good tight end. So we'll see. I mean, if there's anywhere to succeed, I think it would be there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quick, Russ. If let's assume he's not going to Pittsburgh. Where's he going?
I think the Raiders are actually a really good fit for him. Honestly, I think they're a good fit for Pete Carroll. I think they could be. I don't think they're a playoff team if they get him. But I think they could win some more games for sure with Russell Wilson. I think he's familiar, but I don't know. That ship might have sailed. I don't know. I don't know how that relationship between both of them is. But I just don't know where. Yeah, but for these quarterbacks, you could throw around the same kind of teams like with the Giants. I just don't. I don't know any other better spots. I don't really want them back for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we love you, Russ, but I just think we know what we got there, and I think for the Raiders, I think they released Gardner Minshew, the big news, a couple days ago. What a sad story that is, but I think
I like Gardner Minshew though.
I know. I do like
signed Gardner Minshew.
They should have. They probably should have whenever they signed Trubisky.
Oh no, we have Skylar Thompson actually right now. Did you know that?
That's our only quarterback.
That was immediately after the season.
9 tight ends and Skylar Thompson on our roster.
That
was immediately after the season's over. The Steelers have signed Skylar.
They were thinking about signing him during the playoffs.
They had a vision. They have a vision for Skylar Thompson, but. Yeah, I don't know. You could go a number of ways, but I think the Raiders are a decent fit. I just don't know what other for him at this stage in his career. I don't know. And the Raiders obviously want to win right now, so.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's where I would. It would just make sense because of the familiarity. I don't think he'd want to go to the Giants or the Jets or, I don't think that would make sense.
All right, I'm going to take Sam Darnold. Here's where I want to see him go. This was my sleeper team last year, and their quarterback disappointed extremely, but they have a great offensive coach. It wouldn't be a rough transition going from O'Connell to this coach. It's Jane Steichen in the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, you know what?
I
heard that. I heard that is a good.
I want to see that happen.
I agree.
Dude,
yeah.
He's arguably. C.J. Stroud had a down year, and Trevor Lawrence. He's arguably they could win that division.
They got to get their defense fixed. They got to fix their defense.
That O-line and Jonathan Taylor, and now they need to get another receiver, but Michael Pittman is pretty good. I
think he's a really good 2. I think they need a star.
They do need a. I would love to see him go there.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, they just gotta figure out their defense is very old and it's not performing. I think they need to.
If Sam Darnold's slinging the ball around, you can win a lot of games. In that division,
for me, like where Sam Darnold goes, like I feel like it depends on his mindset. Does he want to use this year as like, wow, I had a great year. Let me get as much as I can in free agency because this is the time for me to make money. Or is he going to look at it from a football standpoint and say, well, I did so well with the Vikings. So if I want to continue to be a very good NFL quarterback, I might want to do whatever I can to stay with them. I don't know where his head's at there. I don't know if what's going on. I would love to see him back with the Vikings just because I think he would be playing at his best because that's where he has played at his best. The Colts I didn't even think about the Colts. That's very interesting.
I heard.
I would like him to be a Viking. I just don't know though.
The Colts got to make a move.
They do.
They got to make a.
That was good. I heard Coward talking about that. I was like, you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make a lot of
100%.
sense. They've just Anthony Richardson. It's just he was a project anyway, and if everything went right, he could have been a really good quarterback.
Steichen isn't fixing him. Nobody's fixing him. I'm sorry.
but I think we need to pump the brakes. Steichen, he hasn't.
Dude, look what he did. No, do not disrespect. He took almost took Gardner Minshew to the playoffs.
But that's not. He didn't like improve. He wasn't a great quarterback. You're talking about like he's a crazy quarterback developer or something, or offensive genius. I just saw their offense. I saw
because he had Anthony Richardson. And
Jonathan. He had all the great. They could have at least been. I just don't. I think he's good. I just don't think he's a star.
Twice. They beat the Steelers 2 years
That's not saying anything. They're Steelers. We just want a whole thing about the Steelers. It's like, hang the banner. You beat the Steelers.
He needs the quarterback. This guy's he took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. This guy's a great.
He didn't. No, that's your boy Nick Sirianni took him to the Super Bowl.
The
Super Bowl champion.
Sirianni is a no.
You're disrespecting Sirianni, a Super Bowl champion.
He'll be fired in 3 years.
I'll take my coach getting fired 3 years after he wins the Super Bowl.
Non-quarterbacks. This is getting heated.
Dude, we love this is great content.
Rodgers, if I'm saying he's going to the Steelers, where do you see him going?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. If he doesn't go to the Steelers,
what are the Titans going to do? We're going in the AFC South.
Yeah.
The Titans, I feel like, should go young.
I agree.
Titans might. The Titans. I heard that as a Rodgers because they have a cap space.
I did too.
Do the Colts have cap space, by the way?
Go to the Titans. I don't
know. But who else? The thing with the Giants that they could be who else? Who else are we talking about here?
Yeah,
it's all bad teams that need a quarterback, and the Steelers. If the Steelers don't want him,
Steelers are the best option of all these teams.
I know, but if the Steelers, it doesn't work out or whatever, it's like Giants, Titans.
I think the Giants would try
New Orleans.
To go
what is New Orleans? Are they trading? I just don't know what the Saints are going to be. I don't know. I don't want to talk about the Saints. They're just
all right. DK Metcalf. He's on the trade block.
Steelers. You know what? I was thinking about this. So he would be a fit for the Steelers, honestly, but I can't remember the team now. I'm drawing a blank on what team that was.
I think I know who I would want to see DK with.
Go ahead,
Jake.
I think a team that's really going to want to try to keep going all in while they can, the Bills might try.
Yep. That's who I had. Yep.
Because
that's a good.
they're going to try to do whatever they can to counter Kansas City like they've been trying to do. And with how much the receiver core has been gutted.
That's who it was. Somebody said, because somebody said Kansas City.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great fit, but I haven't really thought about it, honestly, but I think that would be.
They're getting their one back. Dude, Rashee Rice is so good.
Yeah, I don't think, but I'm just saying that's what I heard.
Addition.
I heard that the Chiefs had they're one of the teams that had like interest already. But yeah, I like the Bills one actually a lot because I like Shakir. I think he's decent. They just paid him, but I think he's a solid. I think he had a great season, but I think he's a 2. Honestly, they got good tight ends. I think that Amari Cooper just didn't really work out last year.
He's a free agent.
He was hurt.
I would like the Steelers to get Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Amari Cooper's. Yeah. So I think I agree, Jake. That's
if you get Amari Cooper, you're keeping Pickens because he's not good enough.
Yeah, he isn't. Unless
He's
you
not Adams level.
unless you acquired Devontae Adams as well.
You're thinking of it through the trading Pickens. I just
want
don't.
them to trade
I just don't think
Pickens.
that's
But
what
if they
they're.
get
I
a
don't think
guy
they're.
like DeAndre Hopkins or Cooper, then you got to keep Pickens.
Hopkins, I wouldn't.
Because they're not good enough.
I've been a big Hopkins fan. I think he's been underrated throughout his career, but I think it's just.
He's just getting
He's
old.
got to go somewhere.
I don't know if he does. He said he's not retiring, but he had a bad playoff performance.
Yeah,
that Super Bowl game. Remember he dropped that pass? It was like right to him.
Couldn't be more wide open.
Yeah, I just.
Chris Godwin.
I love Chris
That's
Godwin.
He's old. He's arguably bigger than Adams.
He's old and he's injury prone.
To the Bucks, I feel like the Bucks are gonna find.
I was gonna say,
him.
that's what
I would love to see that.
Okay, yeah.
Like I can't see him in another uniform.
He's just they're good. Like they've had Mike Evans forever. They've had Godwin forever.
Yeah.
It just feels like he should stay. I like that. I like teams that just you see that in like hockey a lot where just the player stays with the team like their whole career almost. I feel like Chris Godwin's one of those guys to the Bucks. Won a Super Bowl there and everything.
All right, let's look at some edge rushers. We got the freaking Bengals are going to have a worse defense than they did. Sam Hubbard randomly.
Oh, we got to talk about the Bengals because they're just the most poverty organization I've ever seen in my life.
Retired at age 29. He's like, I'm so
because
sick
they're so
of
bad.
This is turning into what the 49ers were after they lost the Super Bowl to the Ravens. Like everyone retired.
Just a complete collapse.
That's exactly what's going on.
So Sam Hubbard, there are two edge rushers. Or was he on?
He was a tackle, wasn't he? Isn't he a tackle?
He was an edge rusher.
He's an edge rusher?
Hubbard,
well, whatever. He's
he was
part
a
of their
defensive
line,
end,
right?
at
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's retired. 29. See ya. I'm in my prime.
They paid him. He got
yeah.
I think they paid us.
Trey Hendrickson's like, you're not gonna pay. You're gonna focus on.
I love
Chase.
the city of Cincinnati, but I'm thankful that the Bengals are giving me the opportunity to explore other options.
So Hendrickson, where do we want to see him go?
That is tough. You know what? A defense that could use a playmaker could be the Texans.
You have Hendrickson paired with what's his name?
Will Anderson.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. That is a good one.
The Colts, right? We're talking about
the Colts. No, actually, like they actually.
Yeah.
You know what? The biggest one every year about edge rushers is the Falcons. The Falcons have had the worst edge rushing for the last decade. They're just
Vic Beasley had
the one great year, and they just can't get it right. I think the Falcons could be a good spot for him. Yeah. They need edge rushers for sure. Like Joey Bosa could be also. We talk about edge rushers.
So, let's talk about Bosa. So, here's a team I want to talk about that I don't think people are thinking of because they're bad. They were so bad, but they got the quarterback. Now they got the coach, and they have a ton. I'm just saying, watch out for this team next week. They have a ton of cap space. The New England Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to be making some big moves, and I would not be surprised if one of these edge rushers I have on my list goes.
Well, they're gonna look at wide receiver big, I think, because there were rumors that they were really in on T. Higgins, but then the Bengals franchise tagged him. I'm done with the Bengals, but they were about to give him a lot of money. I think you're right. They have a lot of cap space. They're going in the right direction. I think the Patriots will spend, but I think offense first for them. I think they're going to look for it, but I think that would be. And
their defense hangs in there at times.
It is.
They need some thump.
Honestly, a guy. I don't really know their cap situation, but like a team that could, another team that could use a big guy after having a weird year is the Packers. I think that would be a team that could look through free agency with the defense. That's
a good one actually too.
The Packers are they're so close.
What
is it? They need something, and I'm not sure what it is.
Well, Jordan Love had a down. He had a down year.
Yeah, he did.
I think they had a chance to. They just had against Philly.
So tough.
Well, against Philly, they just. In some of these games, it was just so weird for them. And then against Philly, you start off the game and you turn it over immediately. It's just, Jordan Love just didn't perform up to the expectations after that great year the previous year.
He's still the guy, but it was kind of a little disappointing.
Yeah, you're hoping for a bounce back for him. And it's just crazy. They could look for a receiver too, because maybe an older one too, because they got younger ones, but it just feels like they need a veteran guy as well. I don't know, but they do have some really good young receivers, but they need to step up a little more. I think
agree.
Like Dobbs and the other. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Christian Watson.
Yeah, Watson.
All right, I want to end with this. Najee Harris. Where do we see Najee I think we all say that I don't think he's coming back to the Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't think I see that happening. Where would he best fit?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Honestly,
I
though,
could see that.
I could see
I
it.
could honestly see that.
I don't know where the I just want to say
What is that? It's like the Fox Dallas Cowboys. I don't know.
yeah, but the Dallas Cowboys are Fox. It's like Fox. It's like the Dallas. Every week we gotta put the Dallas
Dallas
Cowboys.
is the game of the week. They're 0-2.
Dallas Cowboys against the New England Patriots.
Yep.
So it's Fox Sports Game of the Week.
Oh my.
Available in every market in America.
America's game of the week every week on Fox.
Tom Brady called a bunch of Dallas games last year. I just remember that. It was so funny. But yeah, no, I mean they need a running back. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean,
Ezekiel Elliott's not.
Yeah.
They tried, and Tony Pollard obviously got bigger money with Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They were in on Derrick Henry. They needed him a lot more than the Ravens did.
Yeah.
Even though the Ravens are so good at developing running backs.
Yeah, and then him and Lamar Jackson, that's a whole level of offense that you unlock with that. So,
Najee. I'm just.
bless you.
Thank you.
I kind of am picturing him in the Raiders uniform. A little bit.
Imagine the Raiders just go all in. They get DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson, Najee Harris.
Yeah, I'm imagining Russell Wilson and the Raiders. I'm imagining Najee Harris.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, we talk Tyler Lockett. I'm imagining DK. Everybody.
How about the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, we know how much Harbaugh loves to. He's gonna want to have a
Yeah.
two-back system.
That's a Harbaugh
I like
running
that.
back.
That is
That's
a
a Harbaugh.
It is.
You know what? That's a great one.
Because I didn't even think about the Chargers at all. Like,
If he could go anywhere other than the Steelers, I'm a big Najee fan. The Chargers or the Raiders for me, that would be all right with. Because I like both those teams honestly anyway. But I think he fits really well with what the Chargers want to do.
Yeah.
That's a great.
And I
goal.
think they would. I think they would make.
The Chargers.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about the Chargers.
We got killed. They got killed in the wild.
Who are we
card.
talking about for wide receiver? The Chargers have to be in
Dude,
for
they
wide
need
receiver.
receivers.
Yeah, they
For
do.
any
You're
wide
right.
receiver out there, the
Literally
Chargers should
all
be.
the receivers. Although Lad McConkey really I
Yeah.
loved it.
I mean, you have a guy alongside him. Like
We love
that's all
Lad
of a sudden.
McConkey. You're a big Lad
Dude.
McConkey.
I held on to him in fantasy all year, and then once I was out of the playoffs, bro, he was killing it, man. He was.
Yeah.
No, I was big high on Lad McConkey, and he did really well. But yeah, the Chargers, he got killed in that wild card round, and everyone's forgot about them.
That was
They're gonna be
embarrassing.
back. They're
Yeah.
gonna be back. It kind of proved that they weren't. Harbaugh did the best he could with that team, but that was a team that won 5 games the year before.
Herbert,
And
no,
it really
He
showed.
had a fantastic coaching season. I'd rather have
And
him
Herbert
at the
did great,
Steelers.
and Herbert.
He has to prove himself in
In
the
the
playoffs.
playoffs,
Still,
yeah.
he still has
Yeah.
to do that.
But they do need some. They're a couple players away, but they're close.
Yeah.
That's a team we should.
Bro,
keep our
imagine their
eye on.
defense. I mean, it was all rookies and second-year guys in that secondary, and they
was.
were just excellent. Yeah, I mean, imagine if it's another year. I mean, their defense is gonna be stout again. I think, even with. I do think, they might need edge rushers. They got rid of both of them. I didn't even know. I thought Khalil Mack was still.
Joey Bosa. Here's what would be really cool. Send him to the 49ers.
Have the
Nick
Bosa
and
brothers,
Bosa.
yeah.
The pass rush.
Yeah.
That's a real.
In
That's
the
a real
most
pass
radical
rush.
city in America. No, we love San Francisco.
Do we though?
I love. San Francisco gets
I've
a
never
lot
been
of
there.
hate.
It's
a nice city. It's,
I've never been there.
I've never
but
been there,
I've
so I
only
can't
heard.
say nothing. But I'm gonna hate on them anyway.
I hate the 49ers.
Yeah.
But I like
The
to see
49ers
Joey.
aren't even. They're in Santa Clara. They're not even.
The Niners need to get younger. They need to get younger. Joey's still kind of young. Put him alongside Nick. That's good.
It is.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on.
They both get hurt in week 3 at the same
Imagine,
game.
yeah.
And the 49ers finished 6-11.
I know this is your favorite. This is your guys' favorite topic, but Pitt basketball. I mean, they have disappointed. I mean, they already had disappointed, and they disappoint even beyond our belief.
I'm out. I was out too. I think I'm
I
out.
was like,
Pitt
what's
basketball.
happening?
I'm leaving.
I mean, what does the future? The future looks. I just.
There is no future.
I want to hear your thoughts on.
I mean,
this.
it's a shame. I remember, during the summer before college, a month before college, I was just outside all the time, and I would shoot basketball listening to Pitt podcast of basketball because I was so excited they brought in all the transfers going into the tournament team, and then they got Bub Carrington and then Jalen Lowe. I'm like, wow, like if they have a good season and Capel is able to stay, like you got these two really good guards coming in. And it looked that way at the start. I mean, they made the tournament. They arguably probably should have made it last year if we're being real. And now let's be honest. Yeah,
that really crushed them.
It did
this year too.
Yeah, and now you go into this year, like Jalen Lowe looked a lot better in the second half. You have Leggett and Austin coming back. If you just do well in the transfer portal, like you're set. And
they didn't do well.
They did not. Unfortunately, no. Yeah,
but to be honest, like
Cam Cord was like, yes.
To be honest, though, like we thought it was a decent. I didn't think it was a spectacular, but I thought it was like a fairly decent transfer haul because I didn't realize Cam Corn just gives no effort.
Exactly.
24/7 on the defensive rebounding.
Honestly, I thought his lack of rebounding was his lack of playing time. I know he got a decent amount of playing time at Florida State.
Yeah,
but he
Florida
wasn't
State, they always interchange everybody.
Exactly. And he had the pedigree of being a fantastic recruit. I'm like, okay, if you bring him in and he improves, like this could be a good, like not 4-year for us, but 4-year in general college career. And then Damian Dunn, I was a little bit excited for. I was like, okay, this is a
loss.
It was, even though I did hate on him probably too much, Damian Dunn, but he played pretty well until he got hurt. And you had that veteran experience that really brought you to the tournament. Capel's first year making it. And now it's just, it's weird because like Pitt, like for the most part, other than SMU and Mississippi State and those teams, they play close against these tournament teams. Like Louisville, they've played close. Wake Forest is still a pretty decent team. They played close.
They should have won the Wake game. They should have won at
North Carolina. Exactly, but then they lose.
Out a game.
Now they're just
and now they lose to NC State, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame. It's like, what's going on here? But
it's the same story at the end of every game.
It is.
Jalen Lowe is not a point guard. He does not just know how to distribute the ball. He is just simply a playmaker. And he tries to do all this crazy stuff at the end of the game. And I'm not just blaming it on him, but
it's a big part.
Yeah. It is a huge. I'd say it's a majority of it. And that's why they can't close out. They struggle to score late in games.
They have bad. Yeah. They are. I've said this. They are the dumbest collegiate basketball team I've ever seen. There you go, Jay.
And I was gonna say, and if we look at
we see it off the court too, right?
But if you look at the tournament team, look at Nelly Cummings. He wasn't a traditional point guard, but he made that adjustment and he became more of a pass first. He wasn't like Jamarius Burton was the ball dominant guy. Like Hinston was a very good scorer, but he wasn't ball dominant like Jamarius Burton was. Nelly Cummings was able to make that adjustment. It's just, to me, the ball dominant guy made more sense for Leggett, who's good mid range, who's better with the ball in his hands. I feel like Lowe was better last year whenever he was more pass first because that's the role he had to be in.
Right. Yeah.
And so to me, relying on him as the main playmaker, I don't know if he's just focused on the NBA, which I don't really think is a possibility anymore.
No,
he's not a smart basketball player.
I mean,
you can make all these great plays and score, but if you don't know how to take care of the basketball, you're useless.
I mean, if he instead of average 16 or 17 points per game, if he averaged like 12 or 13, but he's getting like 8 or 9 assists per game, that's a much more valuable player in my opinion.
And even bigger than that, like less turnover.
Exactly, yeah.
And less
blocked 3-point attempts, which like he probably leads the NCAA. I don't know if that's a stat.
It's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. Oh, here J Lo's about to take a deep 3-pointer up, down one or something where you just need a layup. That was like in that NC State game. I think it was a 3-point game.
How do you lose that? NC State.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those games. There's a lot of issues with this team. So they're awful rebounding. They don't shoot well at all. I think that's another reason for Lowe.
3-point shooting was not the 3-pointing. The 3-point shooting was not what it was the past few years.
And let's look at this way. Other than Corin, there are other big men, Diaz Graham twins. They're outside shooters, and they're not able to get offensive rebounds because they're too busy being outside shooters. Like Blake Hinson was different because he was a very good shooter. I mean, the Diaz Graham twins are good 3-point shooters for being big men, but they're not.
They should have never been with this team.
Yeah,
this long.
Like I mean, if you lose Blake Hinson, you have to double down on the defensive rebounding because there's no way you're going to get a guy like him that can make it from the logo consistently. Like that's just how it is.
Getting good, solid forwards has been an issue the entire Capel era.
Yeah. Except Hewley was good, but then he had all that stuff going on. But
yeah, well, and it's just like there always seems to be off the court issues, on the court issues with selfishness, and it's the same issues with the rebounding. And this year, and all of that combines is not they're good enough to win games, but they don't close them out.
Honestly,
they hang in there. And at this point, it's like if there's no adjustments as far as recruiting, getting good forwards, if there's no adjustments, getting guys to be less selfish and take care of the ball and close out games and pass the ball, and the offense just isn't that creative. No ball movement, not enough ball movement, in my opinion. When does that fall on the coach? When does that fall on the coach? And Jeff Capel has found ways to win with this team, but this team needed to win this year.
100%.
And there was high expectations, and the talent was obviously good enough to be one of the 64 teams or 68 teams, but they didn't get the job done. So it's like there's no adjustments being made. The recruiting isn't really great. I don't,
They haven't really recently. Like this year, they got one who's a 4-star Witherspoon. He was like ranked 90 something, whatever. But yeah, I do Capel. I've been a big Capel defender. Even going
I think
into.
He's a great guy, but
yeah, he is.
You can't lose control.
This
of
is
the
a
team.
bad. This has just been a.
To me, he's lost control of the team.
I just don't know what. You see these other teams, and they're what an offense, what a play call, like what a good play there.
We
I
don't
just
see that.
We have all these coaches. That what's his name? Tim O'Toole. Like all these guys, and the other guy, Marlon, I can't remember his name, but they were former head coaches in college basketball. You figure, okay, you're gonna have enough you're gonna have good plays consistently, and they just don't. They just do pick and rolls.
Yeah.
And Guillermo Diaz, So Jalen Lowe, so that's been a big thing. Their lack of 3-point shooting consistently. I think the only consistent 3-point shooter is Zach Austin, and
Which
he's kind of
crazy to say.
yeah,
you're 100% right.
Thinking about that, Guillermo Diaz-Graham doesn't make him enough to be in the rotation. He's shooting 32% now. He last year was 38. So actually, Jorge's he's been a better 3-point shooter, but they just don't. I don't know why they don't want to play him.
Yeah.
I guess because they want rebounding. I don't. Guillermo Diaz-Graham doesn't get rebounds
They're
either.
both stick figures.
Yeah.
They can't dribble whatsoever. There was a chance for Pitt to take the lead in the NC State game. We obviously know it shouldn't have been even close if this team lived up to what it should have been. But he got the rebound, and the guy just tapped it out of his hand, and it went off his knee out of bounds. And so there's so many issues. So lack of 3-point shooting consistently. No defensive rebounding.
I think the defensive scheme, it's just
bad 3-point defense.
And
they switch everything.
Yeah.
They switch everything, and Jalen. They pick on Jalen Lowe, who's just such a not good defender.
Yeah,
he doesn't give it. He doesn't. There's some plays where he just doesn't give any.
If he was a great defender, we wouldn't be as harsh on him. But he's
So there's so many issues. It's like a perfect storm of issues that could come up with this.
We talked about 900 different things, but it's when does this fall on the coach?
But I always look back to the tournament team, but look how that starting lineup was constructed.
So cohesive.
Your point guard was a pass first guy, the facilitator who controlled the court. Your 2 was the lethal 3-point shooter that shot over 40% from 3 that you really need for your 2, if I'm being honest. Your 3 was your ball dominant guy. Your 4 was a very good outside shooter, but he could also grab boards. And then your 5 was a good defensive center. That was a constructed team and a plan. Like this, it was just like, okay, let's just play the talent and not really have a plan for them. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Everybody knew their role. I just don't think there's a role.
And there was unselfishness because they just want to win.
Zach Austin knows his role, and I think he does it really well. Nobody else really plays to their role, plays to what they should. Cam Corrin shoots jump shots all the time. You're not a good, stop shooting jump shots. And he was making them actually in the NC State game, but then he was at the free throw line, couldn't make free throws. They were just fouling him at the end because he would miss free throws.
Yeah.
But Cam Corrin,
small to other forwards.
He just does not does not give effort rebounding. The one rebound went up in the air. He was just like, I'm not even going for it. Ben Middlebrooks, he was just out physically. He got like 17 poits on him. It's ridiculous.
Cam, you have a 2-inch vertical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look
got
at
2-inch something else too.
if you look at the tournament winning teams, there are teams that. Jeez.
Well, there's some behind the. There's some.
No.
But anyway, but if you look at the tournament winning teams, those are teams.
Short.
You're too short.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say the tournament teams that win are the ones that are a veteran group of unselfish basketball. and some might get drafted because they won a championship. It's like, okay, this is a guy we have to keep an eye on now. But like, if you have a young team, a lot of their heads are in different places. Like, okay, the NBA, okay, transfer portal, whatever. Like, it's not focused on winning now. That's why the veteran team did so well. I mean, look at all these number one picks in the NBA draft. Other than the ones that are foreign, like the ones that get drafted out of college, they don't win a championship. They don't, unless maybe a conference tournament championship. But like, depending on the conference, that's not really saying much. So.
Yeah, I think everybody should be gone except Delich, Cummings, and Conti, and then like
which is
whatever.
Crazy, I like Conti. I wish he had more.
Jalen Lowe is so talented. I just think they need to put him in another role. But if he's a liability defensively,
he needs to learn how to not turn the ball over and shoot long 3-pointers
100%.
when you're down by 1 point with a minute left.
Yeah.
But like, when does that fall next? So that's my question.
Yeah,
Is Capel done? Should he be done?
That's a conversation.
And the thing is, on the years they had success, how much was that Capel?
Right.
And how so. Maybe he deserves one more year, but it's a make or break.
I don't know if he deserves anything. I don't know if he deserves it.
It's just now, like, this is the year that there's no excuse.
Can you replace him?
That is.
Who can you replace him with?
I trust the athletic director more than Barnes whenever he hired, what's his name, Stallings. I trust this
Jacob
athletic director.
We
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
What is Kevin
Stallings, yeah. But I trust this athletic director more to make that decision. I just don't know with Capel's new extension. I don't know how possible that is right now. So.
Yeah, no.
Start a GoFundMe for Narduzzi and Capel. We'll pay it. We'll pay the rest of their contracts.
Because I mean, Capel just signed the extension going into the year. Like,
how many years is it?
I don't remember. I want to say, if I had to guess, probably going into 2030.
It was like 2030.
Oh my God.
Heather, like, she was just like, I'm just gonna, she was just like, I'm gonna extend these coaches long term and then dip. That was basically what happened.
Yeah, it's a conversation because this has been such a disaster of a season.
Yeah.
After the non-conference start, where it looked like they were 18 ranked in the AP poll.
The big thing I learned this year: November, December basketball, we do not care.
Yeah.
But usually you see, oh, we're bad and you're not as good in November, December.
Yeah, exactly.
You get better as the year goes on. They got worse.
Yeah.
I don't know how you.
Yeah.
Because they almost beat Wisconsin, who was a really good team.
Complete opposite of last year's team. Complete opposite.
I agree.
All right, we're gonna end with trivia.
There we go.
Bucko trivia. And I've created
yes,
trivia.
Peyton did. Yep. So you're gonna have
I gotta create the trivia because I'm so bad at it.
Pressure's on. Jake
I know.
Bell's a heavy
if I lose, I might be.
There's no pressure on me. There's no pressure on me.
That's the good thing. Yeah. It's like Paul Skeens against like some random pitcher like.
My knowledge of
no, not disrespecting you, but I'm just saying like that there's a lot of pressure on me, but none on you, so it's
no, that's not disrespect. You're putting in the work. I 2010, 2011. I should know a lot more about that time.
All right, so do we want to start with the more recent one?
It doesn't matter
because I think Nate will have the
Nate has the advantage with more recent.
I want to like end strong maybe and like actually get it maybe. So I want to do that one last.
Okay. So first hint.
So what's the trivia based?
Oh yeah, these are just players.
Oh,
okay. Players.
Okay, they're players.
From 20.
So we have to guess the player then.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy.
Can I phone a friend?
This guy's a first baseman. He was a 9th round pick for the Pirates in 2017. Does that need more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, was he drafted as a first baseman, or did he?
Will Craig.
No.
No,
he was a first. Without Wake Forest.
Will Craig. Wake.
All right. So in his time with the Buccos, he played 39 games in the 2022 season.
I was about to,
Oh, I think I know who this is. Bly Madris.
Wow. You know the first name did Kai Tom play first base sometimes?
He did not. No, he was 2021. Yeah.
Why do I think he was the first? I know because I just remember 2022. I remember Kai Tom. He had like 130
because he was the replacement for Anthony Alford, who we thought would be decent.
That's right. He played center field. Okay.
All right.
Why'd you do that? I wasn't gonna get that one anyway. I didn't know Bly Madris. Wow, I forgot it's first base.
All right, this is a guy when I was real little. I remember me and my dad. We actually, they used to have Ask Teak. We called Teak. We did an Ask Teak, and we were like, "Why doesn't this guy play more?" Because if you look at his short time with the Pirates, he was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. He played 31 games. He's a third baseman. But
Brock Holt.
No.
Wait, so he played in his entire
I
career
always
31
just
games for the Pirates?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. He was a
Okay.
third baseman.
But he played other positions. I think.
Is this still
You think I'm
recent?
gonna get this?
Is this still recent?
No,
2010 or
this is 2010,
something.
Oh, this is
2011.
2010, 2011. Okay. So he played 30-something games.
Yeah, in 2010 and 2011 combined, he played 31 games for the
Interesting.
Pirates.
Okay.
Okay, so he played. His career ended in 2015.
Oh, wow.
He played half season with Atlanta his final year in 2015.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm right. I might try to guess, though.
Go ahead.
Pedro Siriaco?
Yes.
Is it really?
It's Pedro Siriaco.
Can I be honest here?
Do you know who that is?
I've never heard of that guy. In my
Really?
life. I've never heard of him.
You haven't seen all the things on Instagram with baseball accounts that said like 2012 Pedro Siriaco was like Barry Bonds or whatever?
No, I
Like,
honestly, no.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Wow. I told you, I'm not good with.
Yeah.
This is going quick. This is good. Okay.
Yeah, this is going great. This is going
guy
great.
Played, okay, now Nate, you could have a chance here.
No.
This is tough. This guy played for the Pirates in 2012, but where he was most known when he played was in like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
But it wasn't with the Pirates.
Okay.
Okay, he's in out.
Wait, did he make his debut in 2012 then? Or are you allowed to say?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe, possibly.
Okay. So he's an outfielder.
27.
Actually, so I'll give you a hint. He had two different very short stints with the Pirates.
Sean Rodriguez.
No. One in 2012 and one in 2015. And what I remember most about him, he was a real dumbass. Like, he just did I just remember one game where I'm not going to say what he did, but, like, he was just a moron. And then he did the dumbest thing on the bases, and then he ended up getting, like, released. But he had two different short stints.
And he was an outfielder, you said?
Yeah, one in
Okay.
2012.
Oh, outfielder. I didn't even.
One in 2012, 25 games. 2015, 8 games. Oh, you hear that in your...
Yeah. It's
What
like,
is that?
I don't know, but yeah, I hear that.
That's the crickets in my head. There's nothing happening up here.
20. I know this player in my brain. I just can't think of a name. But, like, I swear I've seen this before.
He's a funny name. It's...
Funny
I
name.
just might give it away. Okay, the main portion of his career, he basically played 2 full seasons. I'm not going to say the team, but he played 2 full seasons in 2017 and 2018. And then his career ended shortly after. He stunk. I don't know why, because he was always like barely played, and all of a sudden he randomly like played for this team.
Is this Gorky Hernandez?
Yes.
Oh, I know Borges Hernandez. Wow.
I was trying to think of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember him with the Giants.
I was gonna say, if you didn't get it, I was gonna say he played for the Giants.
Yeah, that would have given it to me right away. I had
Wow.
to think.
Jake, I gotta come up. Wow. This is why Jake Bell does the trivia.
Wow.
Because he gets it so quickly. It's
Yeah.
not that.
Well, I
competitive.
wasn't-
Where me and him are morons. We don't know what we're doing.
I'm just.
No, I mean,
My
to me,
knowledge
it's just
is-
like.
I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, no, it's me being nerdy. It's not you guys don't know anything.
I
It's just
don't
me
know
being-
anything.
It's just me
I
being
wouldn't
over
have
the
got.
top.
I wouldn't have got Pedro Siraguchi or whatever the guy.
The goose.
Tony. Tony.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Pedro Siriaco. Put some respect.
Yeah,
on
I
his
know.
name. Dude, I was like, why don't the Pirates? I was like, why don't the
Yeah,
Pirates?
over Ronnie Cedeno. Yeah,
It should have been.
That's crazy. Your voice. All right. Well, that was exactly
That
how
was
I
a
thought they
great
would
that
go.
was a great episode.
One of the greats. One of the great episodes.
All right. So trade deadline. NHL. Oh, yeah, I want to mention Robert Morris basketball because I got the sweatshirt on today.
The only non-poverty Pittsburgh.
They
team.
are.
this
What
year.
an atmosphere at the UPMC Event Center on Thursday night. They really showed out, and there was a good performance. RMU has. They're very small in size, but they have really good deep scoring, like 6 or 7 guys, and hopefully they make the tournament. They'll be like a 15 seed if they make it. I just remember every time I think RMU basketball, I think of when they beat Kentucky in the NIT, and I think it was 2013. And they beat St. John's the one year too in the NIT, but they never got further than that. But I just remember that 20 because I remember it was just such a great. I just remember that seeing clips when I was younger. That was so. Props to RMU and Andy Toole. They're doing a great job this year. and we'll see how far they can go in this Horizon League tournament. It's stupid because they're playing now. They don't get any more home games. You would like to see that for like a mid-major conference. A lot of them do that. They go to Indianapolis where there's going to be, 800 people or something.
Right.
It's just not going to be the atmosphere like a home game for some of these schools would be. But props RMU, the only non-poverty team. And their women's team is pretty decent too, actually.
They'd probably beat the Pitt women's team. Maybe.
Pitt women's team, actually, I want to mention that because they went 13-19 and 5-13 in the league.
But honestly,
but they had a very good year because it was like their best year since like 2017.
Yeah.
It's just been so bad. It's just been 1 or 2 conference wins usually, but they got 5 and they finished 15th, which is like any year it's like, oh, okay, because that's the last team in the league. But there's 18 teams now, so they finished out of 3 teams. So congrats, Pitt women's. Hopefully they can keep going. They keep getting these like one player that averages like 18 points a game.
And then no one averages at 10. Like
Leah Tu King last year averaged a lot, but then she transferred out. She's now on Notre Dame, which is stacked. But Faye, Kadisha Faye, she's big woman. I was gonna say big woman. The big. That sounds bad. That sounds bad, but she's the big. I don't.
Yeah, she's the 5. She's the
5. She's the center, and she had a tremendous year for Pitt women's and some other players. They actually 3 of their top 5 scorers for this year were out for the whole year.
Oh wow.
The one got dismissed, and 2 of them got season-ending injuries. Bella Perkins, she just was dismissed. I don't know what happened there. But they could have been even better. It would have been cool to see that, but good season for Pitt women, so hope to see some upward mobility.
You mentioned NHL trade deadline. Big trade happened. Brad Marchand.
Oh, wow.
Goes to the Florida Panthers.
Wow. That's a wow.
That's a wow.
Have a shift days doing their trade deadline. They're probably done now.
And they'll be done by the time this episode.
They're probably done now, but they probably talked about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So definitely check out Have a Shift Days, their coverage, even if it's after the trade deadline.
Yeah, they shouted us out today on their live stream. I was listening, so thank you for the shout out.
A lot of picks, man.
A lot of picks. Dubas is in his bag. This should have happened
like 4 years ago, but hey, at least they're not stuck like the Steelers.
Right.
I remember one of the first conversations me and Brian Cashman ever had. You were there for it. Was whenever I was like,
oh yeah, I remember that conversation. I know what you're gonna.
Forget everything I said about the Penguins. They're keeping Ricard Raquel.
Yeah, they should. Okay, well, Jake Phil was talking.
Yeah, what the heck? No, I'm just kidding.
This is a great.
But yeah, no, this is a story. So, in a Point Park basketball game, we're up on we're up in the top where like the camera is, and it was me.
Connor was there.
Nick was also pretty mad at me, and Jake Levinsky.
But he was Cashman was
Cashman, yeah. So they're talking Penguins. It was going into the year where they missed the playoffs the year before for the first time in however many years, and they were going into the season where they missed the playoffs the second straight year. And they were talking Penguins. I'm like, I think the Penguins should rebuild now. Like, why wait? Because this team isn't the same as it was. Everyone's getting old. I said, you might as well clean house now. And they were not happy. Cashman, I thought he was going to hate me for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him that angry.
Yeah, he was the first time we actually had a conversation. This year? Last year.
It was like November.
It was one of our first conversations.
October and November of last year.
They should have done that before even last year.
And then Nick was very mad. He told somebody, he was like, do I have permission to punch him in the face? Like, he did not like me.
Do you remember? I agree with you. I was like,
you didn't want to say anything because you knew how heated they were.
I was like, I
think
I agree. Let's be honest. That was a let's be honest.
No, and now Cashman's like, I can't believe how mad I was at you. I agree with you now.
You know what? And he said today he was like, they're a bad team. He's like, they need to trade Raquel. I actually agree. I think they should have traded him.
Yeah.
Because it was a seller's market. These teams were we got the second round pick for Beauvillier.
Yeah.
We could have got 2 firsts maybe for Ricard.
Right.
I don't know.
How do you not like? You're just there were so many teams interested in him.
Yeah.
They just don't have the balls to just. They're too stuck in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, not as bad
they don't want to make the
Steelers,
fans unhappy by trading the guys that they like, so they're going to keep them.
Yeah. So the Penguins are going to be bad if they don't get a top 5 pick. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Is gonna they have to get a top 5.
Very bleak. You could argue it's the bleakest.
You know what? If they get a top, I don't think it is. I don't think it's necessarily as bleak because I think if they get a top 5, pick.
It's the bleakest of the city, though.
I think the Steelers.
At least. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
different.
weird.
I think Bleak.
at the same time.
When I think of Bleak, I think of 9 and 8.
Yeah, I mean, but you
That's
just never
my
know. Like
Bleak.
the Penguins could draft a stud with one of these, like all these picks that
They
they
just
got.
like
so-
they have, but you like know what they need. They need a
They don't-
goalie.
They have not.
Yeah.
They just have so many holes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
We gotta end
we're
this.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're
do,
done.
yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
but
we are. We're
a lot happening. So next, we'll have another one next week, and we'll talk. Maybe next week we'll do Pirates. I don't know what day is next week. What day will
That's
be next week?
for the 14th.
When's the first?
14th,
When's opening
14th
day?
or 13th. Opening day is the
Yeah.
27th
So like
Yeah.
we'll probably.
in Miami. We're gonna be down there in Miami.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Out of my
Miami
We have
and then
our
Tampa.
family is gonna take a road
Yeah,
trip
imagine.
to
A road
Miami.
trip. Oh, jeez.
To Miami and then to Steinbrenner Field, the Rays, where the Rays are
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, that's right.
We're gonna go all in. We're
Yeah.
ready for the Bucko for
Yeah.
Bucktober this
Yeah.
year. We're ready.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Cancun.
You can't.
We're ready for Cancun. No, we're not ready. I'm done with. We're done with Cancun.
Yeah, we're done with
That's
forward.
all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's all.
The
we're
Steelers
doing.
love
Yeah.
Cancun.
They do. They
love Cancun.
They go there every year after the wild card round. as
They
a
love. They
tradition.
love mid-January. They love mid-January Cancun
They
trips.
do. They love it.
But thank you for listening. I was everyone. Everyone is everyone.
No.
Thanks for all that are watching.
Thanks
watching.
for those that are watching, and keep liking, keep subscribing, comment, say what you wanna. What do you think of some of our opinions? Some of them are very strong.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of what we got to say? Well, like and subscribe and comment, and hope everybody has a great day.
Bye.